topic of today is it's a kind of mind-body art. And I've been working with art all my life. Art has always been my thing since I was a kid. I came by it organically because it was what saved me early on in life with stress and just identity. So the goal today is to relax, a big goal, and which is sometimes hard in the middle of the day, especially I see you're at your desk, but to try to turn off your to-do list and take advantage of the fact that this is me time. And the idea of me time is always to build your resilience against all the stresses and strains that face us today. And the way that I like to do this particular kind of art is really focusing on it is really a mind-body connection. You're really getting into your body because it's drawing your breath, and obviously your breath is a body thing. But it's it's kind of an abstract idea of drawing your breath. So it's sort of a play on words. We learn to draw our breath deep and profoundly in order to de-stress ourselves, and we learn to teach children to take deep breaths. And the breath has a lot of focus now, more than it did before COVID, because now we have more stress, and there it is. The breath is always with us. So really sort of playing with that, and then doing some artwork that allows you to document that. Art is always a documentation, which is great. And this is really a body art to help you release some tension. So, before we get going, let's just sort of take a moment and just say, what is your body telling you right now? It's the middle of the day, so you probably have some stress that you're holding in your body. And just think, what do you notice? Take a moment. And, just say, typically, if you have a stressful day, which maybe today isn't a stressful day, we can only hope that every day is not like the most. But when you do have a really stressful day, where does it go? So we're going to start just before we do our drawing. Why don't you get your crayons in front of you and get your paper in front of you. The paints will go next if time permits. Hopefully we'll be able to paint. But basically, we're kind of doing a crayon resist. So we're going to start with a crayon exercise. It'll be very guided, so I'll show you exactly, how to go about it. And you can have those in front of you because we're going to relax our bodies, and then we're going to immediately go into the artwork. So if you have these right in front of you, you don't have to then start hunting around for things. And I'm going to ask you to pick 3 colors. Any 3 will do, just whatever comes to mind. 3 colors to start. You can use all the colors later, but let's begin. So again, you don't have any decisions to make once you start working. You can be very, out of your left brain, out of your problem solving. You can just do it. So take your 3 colors, separate those and put them right in front of you. And that way, when we begin, you'll just grab one of those 3. Okay. So, there's so many ways to do it. We'll do a very short body relaxation, but we'll do a minute or so of this one because this one is one that I found on YouTube. There's so many. When I look for things on YouTube, I usually look for 5-minute length because you can filter, or sometimes I look for 3-minute or even 2-minute because you can get so much from shortness. That's why this is just a short session, but short is good because you can do it, you can always fit it in. So let's just see, let's just sit up kind of straight, kind of relax your shoulders, and let's just look at these jellyfish for a moment. And as you're looking at the jellyfish, let's breathe in 3 times, nice and deep, up through the nose and out through the mouth. Let's do it together. Once up and out. Once more, up and out. And last time, up through the nose and out through the mouth. So you see these miraculous life forms here in front of us, and these are these same pulsations that we have inside our cells, inside our bodies. You know, our breath is mimicking this in and out. We know that our parasympathetic nervous system, the autonomous nervous system, relaxes with these deep breathing exercises, and they don't have to be long. And research tells us that it's good to breathe out a little bit longer than you breathe in. So if you breathe in for 3, maybe breathe out for 4. And those are just simple things you can go to the ladies' room, when you're stressed out at work, and just go and have a private 2 minutes and recalibrate, your nervous system. That's what, again, this next generation needs to do. Take a moment to rebalance yourself. So now, with that in mind, get your first color. And what I want you to do is sort of think of that pulsing and circular and sort of organic motion that you saw the jellyfish going through. And then think of the motion of your breath in and out, in and out, and in and out. And I want you to think of a circle. You're going to be drawing a circle or an oval. And you're not going to be drawing with your wrist. You're going to be drawing with either your elbow. So let's practice with me. Practice this motion. Imagine you're at the physical therapist, and he's talking about range of motion. Now practice doing your shoulder, and now practice even if you're sitting down, you can actually do it from your waist. You can go around and around, so you're really, really engaging your body. And when you do that, everything in your body, your system you get out of your head, and you just get into that sensory state. And then I'm going to put my laptop thing down here, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to ask you to do, to just go around and round again using these gross motor, round in a circle, round and round, just creating a large circle and breathing as you go. So you'll have something vaguely like that. And now take a breath. And now switch colors and switch hands. Do it in your other non-dominant hand. And we're going to trace on top of that same circle, but we're going to do it differently. So you have a different color, a different hand, and I'm going to ask you to go in a different direction. So if you did clockwise, now you'll do counterclockwise. And you'll do it right on top of the other line, so you'll be doing a double line. This is a good exercise in reminding you how your mind and your body work in conjunction, because it's usually very awkward. You have to work harder to do it this way. So your brain is working much harder directing. Go ahead and do it again. Do it with me. Directing your non-dominant hand to do that. And remember, wide, organic range of motion. And then take your last of the 3 colors that you pre-selected. And now I am going to ask you to go back to, you are going to be using just your wrist, which, a lot of times you do for art, for the fine little details. But now you're going to do a wrist, and I want you to try to imagine, sort of in an abstract way, what does that energy of your breath look like when you fill your body with breath and you hold it and you let it out? What is the energy that you're taking into your body? So I'm going to go something like this. It's active, it's alive, it's not static, it's moving. And I want you to do that inside your circle. So roughly something like that. Create some shapes and use gradients. One of the beautiful things about crayon is that you can get excellent gradients. So, shading. And so just relax and fill in whatever comes to mind. I am going to show you just what you can do on your own, because you have your supplies, to finish this up and add the watercolor piece. But here's what I'd like you to do on your own. Again, when we have longer sessions, we add a layer of watercolor on top. And so what I usually suggest is people play with control versus release, because watercolor is known for doing a wash, which is very releasing. But you can also control it. Say if you see the bigger one on the right, you see in the inside, there's that dark blue kind of upside down teardrop, like a balloon.